When award-winning author Moira McPartlin began writing her Sun Song Trilogy in 2014, she had no idea that the events she was imagining would begin to come true. The trilogy, which is set in 2089, references climate change, right-wing politics, genetic manipulation, and artificial intelligence. Moira gives an insight into her inspiration for this thrilling tale of survival, family, and identity. For more information on Moira's writing, go to www.moiramcpartlin.com.
Hello, I'm Moira McPartlin, and I'd like to thank the Southside Fringe Festival for inviting me to take part this year. Normally, when I take part in a book festival, the audience is right there in front of me, and I get to meet them afterwards and they get to ask me questions. This year, of course, it's very different, so I've prepared this video for you to talk about my trilogy, the Sun Song Trilogy, set in the year 2089. I'll talk a little bit about the inspiration for the novels, some of the main themes, and most importantly, I'd like to talk about how some of the themes that I imagined first when I wrote the novels, started writing the novels in 2014, are beginning to come true. But first, I'd like to share with you the book trailer for the third novel, Star of Hope. So sit back and I hope you enjoy it. Pretty dramatic stuff, isn't it? The idea for the first novel came to me in a dream. I had a dream about DNA manipulation, so that is actually one of the main themes of the novel. Another of the inspirations for the novel is this map behind me that hangs in my study behind me, and it shows a depiction of what the British Isles would look like in the year 2100, and it's quite startling because most of the south is flooded, so there's a lot of the theme of climate change within the novel. Another main theme of the novel is a split in class and wealth gap. The two main characters are Sorley, a 16-year-old privileged boy, and Ishbel, who is his native slave. So the difference between the native underclass and the privileged few is quite startling. So what else? Everyone in this world is microchipped because the state wants to know where they are, and surveillance is very high. The other theme that has a big impact on the citizens is that there is no internet in this world. So how have these things come true? Well, let's revisit the themes. The first one, DNA manipulation. There are experiments happening all the time throughout the world on DNA, and thankfully none of the predictions in the novels have come true, but they are, I believe, all possible. Climate change, we know, is a huge problem that is happening to us just now and is always in the news. When I wrote the second book of the trilogy, Once of the Silent, I set it in the north of England, and the north of England was badly flooded. I began writing the book in 2015. In December 2015, Cumbria suffered its greatest flooding ever, and the British Isles continues to suffer from flooding due to climate change. The wealth gap between rich and poor is not something that is imagined in this world. The Trussell Trust is an organisation that has a network of food banks, and they have reported that in the last 5 years, from 2015 to 2020, the number of packages that they give out of their network has almost doubled. So the wealth gap is something that is becoming worse. Microchips. Do we need to be microchipped? We all carry phones and gladly give the information away of where we are. So I'm not sure. I think probably this is part of the prediction coming true of the fact that we don't need to be microchipped. And no internet because of false information. Well, there is such a thing now called fake news. The internet is still there, but do we believe everything in it? And is it just a matter of time before someone calls a halt to all the fake news going around? Now, I'm no psychic, but probably one of the scariest predictions in the book is something that we are living with right now. In Ways of the Doomed, the first book in the trilogy, Sorley discovers something from his history lessons, and that is that a virus called the Silver Surfer virus killed only old people and decimated the population. But there are other viruses in his world as well. So Sorley doesn't go to school. He attends an online academy where all his lessons are online, and he only hangs out with his friends in a virtual world. And who are the survivors of this world? I invented an organisation, the Noirie Black Marketeers, that ensure that goods and services are delivered to the people that need them, for a profit of course. And how do these black marketeers get around? In white delivery vans. So the survivors in the world that I invented are white van delivery drivers. Sound familiar? So it does sound a little bit bleak, but as the title of the last novel suggests, Star of Hope is a very hopeful novel, and it follows Ishbel and Sorley as they travel to extremes in the world. Ishbel to the frozen north and Sorley to the arid dry south in a bid to try and save their civilization. And I'll leave you with a short reading in film of Ishbel travelling in the frozen north to find a tech to help her to turn the internet back on. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you and goodbye. Ishbel crept into the forest. She closed her eyes and let her instincts move her forward. It wasn't long before her instincts were screaming at her. Sixth sense told her to draw her stun and shrink her body into the smallest space she could find. On a tree to her right, she detected movement. A boy, a sentry posted. He hadn't seen her. She could stun him, but he would be sure to fall and hurt himself. She heard voices, baby whispers, unconcerned with danger. She heard an infant whimper and a soft lullaby that soon stopped the baby's cry. As she crept nearer, she wondered how she would announce her arrival without being killed first. Should she whistle? She felt in her pocket. The clicker was there, a crude, U-shaped metal clip no bigger than her thumb. When depressed, the metal sent out a loud click that proved a very effective communication tool. This was her signalling device to alert the rebels. But this community was not rebel. It was too early, too close to the coast. The decision was taken from her. A rope grabbed her ankle, hoisted her skyward. Air whipped from her lungs. She cried out. She lost the stun. Her stomach somersaulted as the rope bounced and settled, spinning her round in slow, gentle circles. When she opened her eyes, she met the stares of a small group of children, dirty, ragged, and hungry for blood.